Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Feeling Camp 8847 and it says, am I the arsehole for stopping my boyfriend's proposal at our best friend's wedding? I, female 26, and my boyfriend, male 25, attended a mutual friend's wedding. They're very close friends to us and brought my boyfriend and I together. My boyfriend and I are coming up to our 3-year anniversary, and things were getting pretty serious. Enough so that I very much wanted to marry him. He's sweet, chatty, typically considerate and empathetic. He's the person who I thought would be the first to show me what a truly healthy and compassionate relationship was like. He's very serious about us too. We've had long talks about marriage and it seemed we're in agreement with no formal declaration. We'd even gotten as far as looking at rings. So the chance of a proposal was more of a when, not if. A few weeks before the wedding, us and the engaged couple at the time were hanging out. The topic of weddings was very prevalent and my boyfriend had cracked a joke about proposing at our friend's wedding. The to-be groom joked back and said, that'd be funny as hell. This was followed by me and the bride-to-be both shutting it down, trying to be serious, but also not thinking he was serious. He was. During the reception, everyone had made their speeches and people were getting their food. While our table was waiting, my boyfriend went up to the DJ and after, they played my boyfriend and I's favorite song to scream sing in the car together. Story of My Life by One Direction. I look at him smiling and he's looking around. All of a sudden, he grabs a fork, stands up and begins clanging on a glass. Immediately, the whole dining room looks over. I stand up and whisper the words, not right now. His face drops and he yells a mix of, I'm sorry, I was just joking. After he sat back down, I verbatim said, let them have their moment. Let's make this our own. He wouldn't even look at me. When it was time to get our food, he immediately goes towards the exit. I followed and tried to catch up to him, but couldn't find him. I texted him twice and called him a couple of times, but got no answer. So I went back to the reception. After not hearing from him for about an hour and a half or so, he returns, sits down, and doesn't even look at me. The rest of the night was terrible. He looked like his dog just died, and I'm trying to make the best out of the night, but felt like I was just his shadow. I was prepping for a breakdown or maybe a fight in the car, but the only thing he said was, I don't want to talk about it right now. And the drive was just quiet and awkward. He sent me a long text about how hard it was to get the ring, how he felt rejected by his closest person, and that I embarrassed him. I tried to explain that it's not that I didn't want to marry him. It was our best friend's wedding, and they deserve their moment. That we should create our own and not piggyback off theirs. He got offended and said that if I wanted to marry him, I wouldn't have stopped his proposal in front of everybody. This situation perplexes me. I've never seen the appeal of proposing at someone else's wedding and tried to handle the situation in a way that I felt was calm and chill. But he's very adamant that I ruined the proposal, made him look like an arsehole, and thus I'm the arsehole. Am I missing something? Should I admit I was wrong and have just let his proposal go at our friend's wedding? I always find surprise public proposals in general is a bit off anyway. I mean, if you know someone wants that, if you know they're 100% going to say yes, then I think that's one thing. But to just spring this on someone, it puts them in a tough spot straight away. But doing this at someone else's wedding as well? Double whammy. You were right, this day was about them, and doing this is stealing that attention away from them. People who has likely spent thousands on their day, and it also puts you in an impossible position. So you were right to do what you did in that situation, in my opinion. And the saying to you, if you wanted to marry me, guilt trip, is just manipulative. You can absolutely want to marry someone and also want the proposal that isn't, taking over someone else's day at the same time. But like I says, not the arsehole. It was bad taste for him to propose at the wedding. It would have been unfair to the bride and groom, not to mention tacky. He needs to get over it and move on. Out of all the possible scenarios to propose, he chose the worst options. He did the right thing by stopping him. No one knew he was going to propose, so he shouldn't feel embarrassed. Opie says I did try to tell him that. Our friends, the literal hosts, weren't even that mad after I explained the situation. They just said thank you for stopping him, and no one else really said anything about it. NYC says, not the arsehole, you and the bride shot him down when he floated this idea. You didn't reject him. You rejected the timing of the proposal and the location. This was their wedding day, not a day for him to shine a spotlight on you. What he was doing was tacky, and you tried to stop him discreetly. If he looks like an arsehole, it actually is that. He is the arsehole. Own it, dude. Maybe he's not as awesome and as good at healthy relationships as you thought he was. Excel Pager says you need to pull the Uno reverse card. One of the qualities important for me in a life partner is consideration. Consideration for themselves, their loved ones, friends, family, and general social decorum. Not only is proposing at someone else's wedding tacky as hell, it showed a lack of consideration for your best friend, his wife, their families, yourself, and me. When I tried to speak to you about it, you've been refusing to sit down and talk this out. I need you to give me space while I figure out if I can still see a future in you and this relationship. Not the arsehole. Lurker the Pip says 1. The bride said not to do that. 2. You said not to do that. 3. He didn't ask them permission. 4. He's selfish. Take a good look at his behavior. Is he the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral? What he attempted was incredibly wrong. You did the right thing. Show him this post. Not the arsehole. So, OP did come in with her update and said, I responded to a few comments, but before proceeding with our convo, I read almost every comment, hoping to gain new perspectives and see the situation presented from a different light. After I got home from the wedding, my boyfriend and I texted back and forth. After he went to bed, I made my Reddit post because I absolutely felt like an arsehole. I was second guessing everything and thought the night would have gone better if I just let him do his thing. After seeing the responses to my post, I'm more solidified in that I made the right decision. Yes, the night was ruined, but I'd be more comfortable with my life moving forward. I gave my boyfriend and myself a day to think about this and come back with clearer heads. That was yesterday. I took a lot of people's advice and tried to reflect on this behavior was a grand showing of any smaller reaction. The stonewalling isn't super new. In fights at the start of our relationship, he would get quiet and make a small showing of secluding himself. I'd counter this by giving my boyfriend his space and telling him that moving forward to just say he didn't have the words to talk about it and we can reconvene when we're ready to talk. This worked for us. It gave him time to choose his words. We'd have a good discussion of what went wrong and how we could fix it moving forward. I didn't think that he was overtly trying to make me feel worse by the silent treatment back then. However, ignoring me for the rest of our time at the wedding hurt so much. Not even saying, I just need space right now, and rejecting to hold my hand by pulling away felt like he was pseudo-counter rejecting me. This was a first. I felt like he was trying to make me feel worse through his lack of communication. That's all I noticed. I've had a partner be verbally abusive to me before and another who wasn't willing to talk about things they did wrong, refusing to take any blame. My boyfriend hasn't done any of that. I'm not saying I recognize all patterns of abuse, but I'd say I'm versed in a few. There's also no real history of me catering to him constantly as others were asking. If either person had strong feelings one way or another in different scenarios, we'd often be fine with that person getting their way. Otherwise, if we both didn't care all that much. He loves to use a wheel-spinning website to make decisions and I think it's cute. We met earlier today. He came over and we sat in my living room. He broke down. He vehemently apologized and said he felt like an arsehole. He said he'd been reflecting all of yesterday and talking to his dad about the situation. His dad got mad at him and talked him off his ego crash. His words, not mine. He'd already sent a message to our friends, now flying to their honeymoon in West Europe, apologizing for making their most important day about him and for not properly celebrating them. I asked why he neglected our conversation from months before. He said that the groom and their group of friends had egged him on in private since. Not to propose at the wedding, but to do it soon. He didn't originally plan on doing it at the wedding. He's had the ring with him for about a month, never had any real plan, and wanted it to be just spontaneous. He told me he got caught up in the atmosphere of the wedding, saw his best friend with his girl, and couldn't stop picturing us in the same scenario. His urge overran his common sense, in his terms, and he made a choice he ultimately wishes he could take back. It very much spiraled from there. I noted that while his heart was in the right place, that doesn't excuse the shitstorm he put me through after. I expressed to him that ignoring me really hurt me, that him saying my rejection to his proposal was the reason for his embarrassment and shutdown was unfair, especially since we already had established for him not to do that. He accepted this and continued to apologize, admitting it was very unfair of him and that he should have handled his emotions and embarrassment better, especially towards me. We had a lull in our conversation after he asked, "Where do we go from here?" At this point, I didn't want to just return back to normal. A day where I expressed to him that I felt the prettiest in a long time. Expect this to have enormous fun and watch our best friends have their moment to shine turned into a day where I was crying in my room reading Reddit comments about how I should break up with him. I genuinely thought I was the arsehole who should have just bit the bullet and accepted a proposal in a way that I and others thought wasn't okay. I told him that if we were to move forward, he needed to seek a therapist to help him manage his emotions. Not only from this, but other signs that he may have a panic disorder. My mum works for a mental health clinic and has offered resources before. I said that I needed time to rebuild my trust in him. He understood and is going to seek mental health resources through my mum's clinic. Until then, we'll be on a week or so break with an open channel of communication. He's going to find appropriate channels to better himself, and I'm going to take myself on a mini vacation after the emotional rollercoaster that was this weekend. We did talk about what each other's ideal proposal was. Something we should have talked about before the trigger was even pulled on it. I said that I didn't care for anything fancy. I just prefer it not to be public. He said that he wanted to make a grand showing of love to me and didn't care where or how. He asked if he was okay to have friends and family present or if that broke my public rule. I said that was fine and was happy with the communicative compromise. I also stated that I didn't want to be proposed to for a while so that we could let the situation rest and figure ourselves out from there. He accepted this. Something I thought that was really sweet that I wanted to mention was that before he left, he said, "I do think I owe you some dancing." And so we slow danced in my living room for about half an hour until we left. A small and romantic action, probably to earn brownie points, but the conversation did reassure me that he's willing to try and be better. He recognized he was in the wrong and that a joyful day was robbed by pride and not rejection. This was about as ideal of an outcome as I'd hoped. Thank you all for taking the time out of your days to reply and bring me back to earth. Thank you to those who messaged me in private to make sure I was okay or to give input. While the future is still obscure, it's a little clearer than it was a couple of days ago. I have a clearer understanding now of what I want and what's healthy. Moving forward, I will do every ounce of weighing before I enter what should be the most important commitment you can make to a person you love. And I keep a more careful eye on his behaviors and how he may react to adverse situations. I hope the best for you all as many have for me. Thank you. Is this one of those stories that we can say communication wins the day, or maybe you still got some reservations on the matter? A lot of people in the comments on this one were saying, communication does win the day, and glad that they was able to talk it out and not just break up immediately, etc, etc. But what do you guys make of it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from a throwaway account and says, "Would I be the arsehole if I tell my friend to stop with her coping mechanism?" I'm on a throwaway account because my friend group absolutely knows my main Reddit, and I don't want them finding this and making the situation worse. So, I'm trans, but I come from a culture where being trans is dangerous. For my safety, I immigrated to a much more welcoming country when I was 22. I changed my name and began going on estrogen. I am much more happier as when I meet people for the first time, they assume I am cis female. I have a small group of friends that I made 3 years ago. One of these friends has a rather interesting hobby. She enjoys going on social media apps and basically learning everything she can about a person. I'm not really sure why she does this, as it seems very weird to me, but she basically told me that she does it because of all the trauma she has from her high school friends, who basically manipulate or bullied her into thinking she forgot important info about them. Ever since then, she goes on social media or even listens to gossips about almost everyone that she knows, just so she never misses a thing. I don't really understand it, but someone with trauma myself, I understand that we handle things differently than what's normal. I haven't told my friends that I'm trans. I understand that it seems wrong, but I just generally don't trust people with that kind of information. It's not that I don't think they will be supportive. I just don't think that they need to know this. That, and I'm a little afraid of our dynamic changing as I love them a lot and can't stand to lose any more loved ones. I know that if it comes to a point where it's needed, I will tell them, but right now it's not important information. So this friend Amelia, fake name, was acting really weird around me. It felt like she was bringing up or talking about similar things that I haven't told anyone about. Not directly, but she'll say things like, example, I heard about this place called restaurant that I went to when I was younger. The food seems interesting there. I thought I was just going crazy at first as the internet is free and she is allowed to see things from my hometown without it being linked to me. That is until yesterday. She was talking to our friends about baby names as she is pregnant and brought up my freaking dead name. We made eye contact for a bit as my friends gushed on how cute it sounded, but all agreed it doesn't really fit her ethnicity. She moved on and never brought it up again. I don't feel anything towards the name, nor do I feel like she isn't allowed to name her baby after it if she so desires to, but it feels like a twisted form of power play. I'm not sure how she found it, but I don't think she'll use it against me, nor out me, as she's not that type of person. I feel like maybe she's just trying to hint that she knows. Right now, I just want to call her out on what she's doing and tell her that she needs to stop as it's making me uncomfortable. But again, I'm not sure if this is the right move, as it is her coping mechanism for her trauma. First season says to OP, not the arsehole, just keep ignoring this person. She's not a friend, and I call bull on her trauma. That is her excuse, other than just being a nosy Nelly. If the trauma were true, she would not be doing the same thing. Your identity is no one's business but yours to disclose if you choose to do so, in your own way and to whom you would choose to do so. I don't think confronting this person is the way to do it. OP says, you're probably right. I'm just worried I might overstep and lose everything as they've been friends with each other longer than they have been with me. Fashionably punctual says not the arsehole, that's so invasive and rude and gaslighty that I wonder who was really the bully in her high school friendships. If she found out you had a dead sibling, would she drop weird random hints about that too? Take away this being about your transition and apply her behavior to any other sensitive topic someone wouldn't want casually hinted at in a public setting. And it should be easy to see how inappropriate and cruel she is being. Flashy Bridge says, not the arsehole, this isn't a coping mechanism. This is invading privacy. This is extremely unhealthy and honestly, I'd distance from her if possible. That behavior is not okay. It's one thing to look up a person if you're going on a date with them. It's another to fully deep dive into past lives of everyone you develop a friendship with. She needs therapy if she thinks that's a healthy or acceptable coping mechanism. Tangerine Queasy says, I think if it's bothering you and you feel concerned, gently ask her in private if there's anything on her mind that she would like to say. It's possible that you feel sensitive and are connecting things that aren't there, or she is being a bit cruel teasing you with triggering information to get a reaction out of you. If she enjoys being nosy about people's lives in a private capacity, that's her deal, but using that information that is meant to stay private is not okay. P.S. I don't think you need to tell anyone that you are trans unless you want to. It's your business. Who you are, as you are, is all that matters. The details are irrelevant. So OP does update the post and says, first of all, wow, I just want to thank everybody for the nice comments and messages that were really sent to me. I'll be honest, the last 3 to 4 months have been difficult for me and the kind words I received really helped. On to the updates. Amelia gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and no, she did not name him after my dead name. I don't think I would have cared anyway because one, like I said, I don't feel any attachment or trauma with that name, and two, it's her loss if she names her son that because she is white as snow and I am Arab. Regardless, I still felt happy for her and celebrated her son because she was still my friend. Second, there's a trend on TikTok or Instagram where person A will record person B and film their reaction to hearing the sentence, I'm so hungry I could eat name. For those who might not know, the name they will say tends to be of a person that person B has a strong past with, like an ex or a dead friend or something. Me and my friend group went over to my best friend's house for a girls' night to spend some time with Amelia since she's been busy with her son. They did the TikTok trend, and since I don't really frequent social media nor post myself, I mostly watched and chit-chatted with other friends who also weren't super into trends. We were having fun till Amelia pointed the phone at me and said, "Hey, my name. I'm so hungry I could eat father's name." I was beyond shocked. My dead name has no meaning to me but my father's, like a knife twisted into me. Hearing his name made me panic. I guess my other friends noticed and told the media to stop and delete the video. I basically disassociated during the argument, but from what my friends told me after was that Amelia claimed it was just a joke and a trend that people do. She then went on to claim that I was in the wrong and outed me to my friends, who luckily didn't care. Like they were accepting as I hoped. She basically got kicked out of the house after a long screaming match, and my friends told me she wasn't welcomed in the friend group anymore after what she had done to me. I felt awful about this, as she was friends with him longer than I was and felt like I was ruining things. They assured me that I didn't and they accepted me. I apologized for not telling them sooner, and they understood that it was my secret to tell. Amelia did end up posting the video, and Vague posted about me and the rest of the group. It got taken down after my best friend confronted her and forced her to delete the videos, but the damage was already done and a lot more people knew. On the brighter side, I never really got questioned by those mutual friends of Amelia, so that's good. After that, we never really heard or paid any attention to her again. I finally started therapy, and my therapist was the one who suggested to update you all. As some form of closure, she said. So once again, thank you to Reddit for all the kind words and messages, and hopefully nothing else this bad happens again. The top comment on this one, I have to read it out, it was exactly the same as I'm thinking, but it said, "What is wrong with people that this became a trend? Like, yeah, let's trigger people for fun. I read your original post. Glad you're doing better and that Amelia will no longer be in your life." And yeah, that was not a trauma response on her part. That was her just stalking and taking perverse pleasure in tormenting you when she knew you couldn't do or say anything about it. I fear for a child, frankly, but not your problem. Go heal and live your best life. And it definitely did feel like she was getting something out of it. She wanted a reaction from OP by bringing those up. Otherwise, why would you do it, quite simply? Absolutely awful person. And I'm glad that OP's friends were accepting. But what do you guys make of this situation? Have you heard of this trend before? Never seen it myself, but let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.